Hey, I'm Chad Barker, your Sudoku professor, and I'm here to help you solve Sudoku better and faster and stronger. And I am following up on our last webinar, or the last video that I did here. This is part 2 of our success by being in the game. And I had some more thoughts here because I wanted to share these with you to help you understand what I mean by being in the game. So, give you another example of this. My oldest son, has a business in which he sells specialty car parts. So there's a limited production car that he buys these cars, and then he takes off the useful and valuable parts and sells those. And when he started out, it was hard for him to find the cars. The parts were the cars themselves were expensive, and he was having a real hard time with that. But then he really got in the game, and when he got in the game, things changed, and he started putting himself out there as someone who would buy these cars. And believe it or not, what happened is that the number of cars that he was able to buy went up, the price went down. He even had situations where people would call him up and say, hey, can you just give me $50 for this car? And of course he would buy the car for $50 and then get a lot of parts. I mean, he made a ton of money off of those, as you can imagine, because it's pretty much pure profit. And then there were the people that would call him up and say, would you just please take this car for free off of my hands? And he would do that as well. And so what happened is, being in the game created the success that he's had in the business. It's not always pure success when you're in the game. Okay. So for example, he's not always able to buy every car, or every car that comes to him is not even worth buying or even taking off somebody's hands for free because it's in such really bad shape. For me, when I was doing real estate, I mean, just because I came across the deal of the decade doesn't mean that I was actually able to close the deal, because, who knows, the seller may change their mind, or there may have been other issues or things like that I just wasn't really willing or prepared to deal with. And so when it comes to Sudoku, when you're solving, it doesn't mean, just because you're in the game doesn't mean you're going to solve every puzzle. You're still going to come across puzzles that you can't solve. And that's okay. Stay in the game. But just because you can't solve them now doesn't mean you won't be able to solve them later. And by making the attempt to solve these puzzles, you're actually honing your skills. You're getting better. You're able to spot patterns better. You're improving your ability to solve other puzzles. And just because you can't solve that one yet doesn't mean you won't. And you'll be able to set that puzzle aside. And later, when you learn more, you'll be able to come back to it and solve it. If you want to get better at solving Sudoku, if you want to hone your skills and be able to solve harder and harder puzzles, all you need to do is to head on over to solvemoresudoku.com. All one word, solvemoresudoku.com. And you can sign up for those free lessons. And I've had people tell me that just based on the free lessons, they've been able to go from not being able to solve very many Sudoku puzzles to easily being able to solve medium puzzles. So check those out. And if you like what you're learning here, give me the thumbs up, I'd appreciate that. And I will see you tomorrow.